So you're going to do the invisible levitation trick. You're going to cut a piece of string from the roll that is from your ear to the longest part of your fingertip. It's better that you have it long because if it's too short, your card will be flying up here. So you'd rather be able to, shorten it than you can't add to it. Anyway, you're going to grab one tiny fiber. I know this looks like a lot of string, but it's actually a whole bunch of little pieces of string that you're going to use. And once you get one little tiny fiber, you're going to pull about 6 inches of it out of there. All right? And literally pinch about an inch down so you're leaving just the top. You're going to need a couple pieces of Scotch tape. The first one's going to be the one that goes behind your ear. You're simply going to stab it. That piece of string is now hanging from that piece of tape. You're going to roll it over one time, completely over, and you're going to make a little tab here where it's going to be locked in place by that tab, but still sticky so we can put it on our ear. In fact, I'm going to stick it up here against the wall. I highly suggest using a white surface here so you can actually see it because it is invisible string. It disappears with a lot of colors. And if you notice, I'm actually just sliding this big piece of thread off the small, tiny individual thread. So, as crazy as it sounds, it's still on there. It looks, you can barely even see it against the white, but that's going to be one tiny piece of silk thread. And that tiny piece of thread is actually very, very strong. All right. Now this piece of tape, this secondary piece of tape, should be much smaller than this, but for teaching purposes, I'm going to keep it kind of big. We're going to go find the other end of that little tiny thread that we just taped to the wall. And again, with the white background, you can kind of see it. It's really still hard to see. And when you get to the end, you're going to do the same thing that we did to the earpiece. We're going to stab it and roll it over one time. So here's the end. I'm going to stab it. I'm going to roll it over one time. And then this time, I'm going to tape it directly to the center of a playing card. All right. And go grab my earpiece. I put this over my ear. Now, when I do this, I want it flying a little bit higher than my belt line. It's a little bit low right now, but you can always higher it just by, wrapping it around again. And that's how you get the card to levitate. It's just basically on your ear. Your hands are the distractions. Your head actually controls where the card's going. You obviously don't want to make it too noticeable that you're using your head. So start off, just make it look like you're focusing on it. Maybe just learn how to pass it from right to left. I'm also going to show you some things how when it's caught between your fingers and you just extend your hand, it will float up into your hand. The loop, I'm going to show you that trick here in a second as well, where the card actually goes through a loop completely. And I'll also teach you ways that you can actually float things like food up into your mouth. And I'm going to use a bigger piece of string so you guys can see what's actually going on. All right, I'm going to put this up here for now. And for those of you that couldn't really see what went on in that first part, I'm going to use a big piece of string and set up the same way. All right. So I got a big piece of tape, stab it, loop it over one whole time. It's a little bit different with this heavier piece of string, but same principle. Make the tab. We would stick it on the wall and slide the whole piece out. We're not going to really need to do that on this one. Grab the other side, stab it, flip it over one time. And then what we would do is tape this to a card. Alright? Now this obviously isn't going to spin very well, but you're going to see what's going on here. One, you can spin it this way, and you can spin it vertically since it's just on, a point there. So both illusions work pretty well. When you're going through the loop, you actually just loop the string and drag the card through it. So once the string's looped the card, you can really, get the illusion that that thing's going through a loop. To make it float up in your hands, you really can't see what's going on, so just snag it in your fingers, and like I said, as you extend your arm, it will float right up into your hand. And keep in mind, this doesn't need to be attached to a card. You could actually, have it going from your ear to, say, a French fry or your belt loop or your keys on the table. And then, hit your head. If no one's watching, you could, float things right up into your mouth.